Hi, and welcome to another learning moment with me, Dr. Noeline Chirabo. I'm here to inspire you, equip you, and build your capacity to fulfill your potential. Today, I want to talk about meaningful networking. Networking is a crucial aspect of our day-to-day professional lives. For many of us, our businesses, for many of us, our career growth depends on the networks that we are part of, on the networks that we leverage. However, how do you go about networking? When I started out in networking, I really struggled with going out to talk to people. I actually still do struggle because it's not in my natural persona. Being an introvert, I find it comfortable when I walk into a room full of people. I want to find a back seat and observe the room, and I am happy to do that and walk away. However, my nature of work requires me to network and connect and interact with people. One moment, I remember we had a partner that sponsored a group of us to go for a networking event. It was quite a high-end event, and there were all kinds of people in this room. Now, one of our colleagues was very, very excited, and at the end of every day, we'd sit together to compare notes. This young man would come up with over 100 business cards. My eyes would literally want to pop out because I'm thinking, how on earth do you do that? Well, it turns out that this young man has a huge database of contacts. But if you do use his connection and use him as a referral point, oftentimes people have no recollection of who he is or what he does. And so that brings me to a subject today. What is meaningful networking? I'll start by demystifying what it is not. Meaningful networking is not about the number of business cards you collect. Now, some of you might beg to differ because you think the number of cards you collect is how well connected you are. On the reverse, it's not the number of people you know, but it's the number of people you know, who know you that make a difference. So it's not enough to collect my card. If I have zero recollection of you, and if you give my number to somebody and they use you as a reference point and I can't remember you, they have failed in their attempt to get to me because they seem like a scammer. I don't know who sent them and I don't know who they are. It's going to be hard for that person to get the kind of help they might want to get from me. So, in meaningful networking, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. Typically, for many people, when you walk into a room, especially if you didn't get to see the attendance list ahead of time, most of the times people are just quick to pick attention of some of the big shots in the room, and you'll find that everybody will be going for those kinds of people. So, for you to meaningfully network, if you do have the opportunity to view the registration list ahead of time, take note of who is going to be in the room and prepare ahead of time. So meaningful networking starts with preparation. If you know who is going to be in the room, scan the list of people who are going to be in the room and ask yourself, who are the vital connections I need to make? In a half-day workshop or conference, I would say go for a list of 3 to 5 people because you're going to have very limited time to connect with these people. The key thing about meaningful networking is building deep relationships. So it's not about who you talk to and say hi and give a quick pitch that remembers you. It is the people that you stand with, take a little longer to understand who they are, form deeper connections that then become your meaningful connections or referral points. So scan the list if you do have the opportunity, but if you don't and you walk into a room full of people, take the time to listen, especially at the introduction point. And that is why you want to be early for your networking session, because if you miss the introduction, then you don't know who is in the room. Unless you can recognize their faces, you may not know who is in the room and what they do. You want to avoid the temptation of just going for the big shots because you recognize their names and faces, because you're not alone. Everybody that didn't prepare is going to be going for those shots. But that room is full of so many people, so much potential that you can explore. So be there early, listen to people's introductions, and as you take down people's names and what they do, begin to put a star on the people that you think you would love to connect with. When that is done, then you want to move to the level of prioritization. Go through your list. Like I said, if it's a half-day workshop, look for 3 to 5 people that you really want to have deep conversations with. Now, when you tick your 3 to 5 people, I want you to go a step further and then put them in their order of priority. Rank them from number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. This is important because in case you don't have the time to talk to everybody, you don't want to start from the bottom of your list. You want to start from your top priorities. Now, when you know who is the first person you want to talk to, then you are ready for your break to be able to approach this person. The beauty about having a list and order of priority is if the first person is busy, you can go to the next person or to the third person with the intention to come back to your first person when they have a window. So instead of standing or staying on your desk and looking around, you'll have at least these 3 people or 5 people to look out for in the room. Now, the key thing to meaningful networking is that when you connect with someone, when you approach somebody, have a quick agenda in your head, not just to introduce yourself. Maybe it's to learn more about what they do. It's always a good place to pick up from something they said in their introduction. It's always a good place to pick up from something that is written about their bio or their profile in the publications that were issued for the conference. And so you can have a meaningful conversation. There's nothing as boring as when somebody approaches you and says, tell me about yourself. I'm thinking, where do you want me to start from? So you have limited time. Make it meaningful. Pick up from somewhere, from a nugget, from something, from their office, from a question they ask, and then begin to dive into that conversation. You want to be intentional to spend a little more time. Don't scratch the surface. Don't be in a hurry to end the conversation. Don't be in a hurry to move away. If this person is meaningful, then spend a little more time. I will be willing to express myself if I get the impression that you have the time to listen. The problem with many of us is that you start a conversation and then you begin to fidget with your body language. You begin to look around, and I know you're distracted. Because you're distracted, I want to release you so you can go talk to the people you want to talk to. In that moment, you have lost me as a meaningful connection. So when you choose to connect with a person, lock in with them for a few minutes, listen attentively, give them your attention. Show them that you're interested in what they're saying. Ask questions, ask for clarifications. That is going to be able to form a connection with a person. Now, what normally happens is that in every room, every person is looking for their familiar faces. When you spend time with me, I'm going to be intentional about introducing you to the next people I know in the room. In that way, you're hitting two birds with one stone. You're making a connection with me, but I'm also introducing you to the people in my networks. That will not happen if you're in a hurry to move away. So when you connect with a person, they'll introduce you to their connections. What is typically going to happen is that with the first person, I may not remember your name, and I'll look at you and say, please remind me your name. When you do, I will introduce you to this person and will listen to what you do for the second time as you introduce yourself. By the time I've done that 3 times, I know your name and I know what you do. It has settled in my mind. In this one connection, you've probably been introduced to 3 other people, but you have formed a very deep connection with me that I'll want to refer you again and again. So the next time you use my name or my card to refer somebody to me and they use you as a reference point, I will immediately remember, because I had multiple conversations where I said your name and also mentioned what you do. So meaningful networking is not fishing, but farming. You sow the seed, you cultivate it, you let it grow, germinate, and then it's going to give you fruit. So when you think about meaningful networking, prepare ahead of time, have your list of priorities and put them in their right orders. Spend a little more time with the people that you want to connect with, that they have enough time to introduce you to some of their networks. And that is how you'll be able to make a whole lot of sense from your connections. And when you make a referral, it will be meaningful because you'll be able to recognize your name, recognize your organization. So if you are in the space of networking, I hope that this has been beneficial for you. I'd like to hear some of your reflections in the comment section. And until next time, my name is Dr. Noelin Chirabo. Have a great day and a blessed week.